Hello, good evening everyone. We welcome you to yet another live session of PSA powered by Global Reach. Myself, Sayanti Banerjee, and I'm the Manager Operations here. Along with me, I've got my colleague, Ms. Sukhpreet. She is the Senior Counselor in PSA. Now today, our live session is about admissions in one of the renowned UK university, which is based in Northern Ireland. It is none other than Ulster University. And with this, I will request my colleague Sukhpreet to introduce our guest of honor for today. Over to you, Sukhpreet.
Hello everyone. To participate in our session, we have Professor Christopher Nugent, Head of School of Computing, and Professor James McLaughlin from the Department of Biomedical Engineering. Hello professors, we welcome you to the session and we thank you for giving us your valuable time. Over to you.
Okay, so let us begin the session. To start the session, we have our questions for professors, and since it is a live session, we will request our audience to pose your question in our comment box so that we can take your question live and we can have it answered through our professors. Okay, so to begin with, my first question is for Professor Christopher. Sir, how are you going to introduce University of Ulster to the students of India?
Okay, thank you very much for your question and good afternoon, everyone. And my name is Chris Nugent and I'm the Head of School of Computing at Ulster University. So to introduce Ulster University, I would just like to say a few key points, if that's okay. Ulster University is located in Northern Ireland in the United Kingdom. Our university is a multi-campus university, and we have campuses in Belfast, which is the capital of Northern Ireland, where myself and Professor McLaughlin are located. So the university, Ulster University, has in the region of 30,000 students. Our courses, large majority of our courses at undergraduate level have a 4-year structure with the 3rd year involving an industrial placement. And we have in the region of 2,500 students each year currently on industrial placement. As a university, we welcome very much international students. And at present, we have students from over 70 plus countries worldwide who are currently studying undergraduate and postgraduate courses. And we also have in the region of over 225,000 alumni who are based globally throughout the world in various disciplines and in various organizations. As a university, we have 4 faculties: Arts and Humanities, Life and Health Sciences, the Ulster Business School, and the Faculty of Computing, Engineering and the Built Environment. And the last faculty is the faculty within which Professor McLaughlin and myself are based. So I'll maybe just pause there. I can take any further questions, but hopefully that gives you a little bit of an introduction to our university.
Yes, Professor, because my next question to you would be in line to this. How would you introduce the computing department of Ulster University to be a unique one when we are considering, similar kind of departments with our other universities in UK? How is it unique?
Okay, so our School of Computing at Ulster University is based in the Belfast campus. And this is a brand new campus as part of the university and the university's multi-campus structure. It opened in September 2022 and cost in the region of £350 million to build. So it's an excellent resource. It offers an excellent resource for teaching and an excellent resource for students to engage with each other outside of the classroom. It has excellent meeting rooms, facilities like a sports centre, facilities like library, students' union, and all of the students who come not only to the School of Computing but also to the university can avail of these resources and these really excellent spaces that we have. As a School of Computing, we have very much welcomed the international students to join our school, and we have a number of partnerships and collaborations that have really helped to establish this. At undergraduate level, we have a joint international college in Xi'an in China with nearly 400 students. and we have 2 joint PhD colleges again, with international students 10 per year joining our school. So the notion of partnership and welcoming of the international student body is really core within our school. We fully embrace the Athena Swan Charter, which allows us to really take into consideration the important issues of equality and diversity that are linked just with in international environments. And also we promote very much the gender balance within not only our student body, but also within our staff body. The school has two research themes, one in artificial intelligence and one in pervasive computing. And as a school, all of our staff are research active, and we encourage the integration of the research activities into the teaching curriculum. And this ensures that our staff are not only up to date with advances in computing, but we ensure that this is delivered throughout all levels of undergraduate and postgraduate teaching. And maybe one or two final points just to mention. Our courses are all accredited by the British Computer Society. So this is an internationally recognised accreditation body at undergraduate and postgraduate level. So anyone who studies with us will have that accreditation linked with their course, and that will be recognised both within the UK and also on a global scale. And just one final point, also within our school, we have 3 innovation centres linked with industry, and this provides a pathway for us to take our research activities and our civic activities from the university into industrial and civic settings. And with partnerships with a consortium in health technologies in collaboration with Professor McLaughlin. We have a partnership with British Telecom in the area of cybersecurity and data analytics. And we have a partnership with PwC in the area of digital transformation, which really has a focus on generative AI. So I'll maybe just stop there again with that brief introduction, and I can take further questions if anybody would require any more details. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor. I think that was quite an insightful information that you have given to our students. Of course, the recognition part makes a lot of sense to the student, because that's something which is going to be very important for them to consider. And with this, I will request Sukhpreet to pose her question for Professor James. Over to you, Sukhpreet.
So, Professor James, where do you see the careers in biomedical engineering faring well in the world?
Okay, so again, can I thank you very much indeed for the chance to give my pitch on biomedical engineering at Ulster University. So I've watched the subject of biomedical engineering become alive over this last 15 or 20 years. I think the UK and maybe America, and now very much in India, this has become an extremely important subject, and the relevance really is as the medical device industry grows and needs multidisciplinary talents, particularly the talents associated with aspects of engineering that are very medically or bio-inspired. And really what that means is that when you're developing some of the bases of, say, mechanical and electronic engineering, you're getting taught how that applies to anatomy, how it applies to health, and how it applies to the overall health system. So as the medtech industry dramatically expands, and as you all know, we very much need health technology to take a different direction because of critical illnesses in the world and the larger population and the concept of living longer. Therefore, with that has become the big demand. So our biomedical engineering course is now about 15 years old. It was one of the first to be set up. That is about 80 students in the undergraduate course. And the postgraduate course is about 55 students. And I should note most of them are actually from India. And basically the undergraduate and the postgraduate course, which are all accredited by IMechE and IET here in the UK, create a great platform for students to get jobs in these not just emerging but now quite substantial sectors. Companies like Medtronic and Stryker, GE Healthcare and Philips are some great examples, and I know they have very strong presence now in manufacturing, research and development, etc., in the likes of India, but certainly across Europe and very much in America. So basically, that's what that's the way that biomedical engineering is growing. We have a lot of expertise in the centre that makes us unique. We teach your biomedical engineering in a particular style, aimed very much at the medtech sector. So you will learn some basic engineering, and then it sort of advances up to applications into diagnostics, surgical, and therapy. And that's normally the way that you teach. There's many good books that sort of align with that. And then when you go into master's level, you're probably seeing more of a digital approach, a more applied approach to where biomedical engineering sort of takes you. And maybe I will stop there if that's okay.
Yep, thank you so much, Professor James. So the next question will be, what advice would you like to give to the students who are considering biomedical engineering as their major?
So biomedical engineering, I suppose, first of all, if it was an undergraduate student coming through and you're coming out of school, one surprise is mathematics, where it's important. We don't require it up to the age of 18. We require you to have some qualifications at a more junior level in mathematics. So GCSE is the equivalent in the UK. So up to the age of about 16, you would have learned maths. So you've got good basic understanding and some good qualifications in mathematics, but we're not requiring it at a more advanced level. However, we will require a science in there. So physics or chemistry or biology would be necessary. And if possible, another science or other discipline would be acceptable for undergraduate entry. I think we are looking for students then in those sort of 18-year-old sort of qualification subject area to have reasonably good marks. The criteria is online. Within the UK system, it would be typically 3 Bs would be the equivalents there. So preparing yourself and not getting too worried about mathematics, which is normally a common problem for entry into engineering in general. That said, then the master's program would be for students who maybe have a computing science degree, an engineering degree, physics degree, or something of that order, chemical engineering, and want to get more into an understanding of how they would be ready for the medical devices and the medtech industry. So we have to introduce some important applied subjects in there. Regulatory would be one good example, but there would be other disciplines of big interest. Digital transformation at the minute, a major important subject. Medical instrumentation, and then medical devices and tissue engineering. Those type of subjects are going to have to become important in the more applied side. There's a lot of transferable skills as well that you'll pick up. And as we integrate students with American type companies, there are some principles in there in how you project manage and how you develop your career, how you present, and how you critically assess information, report information. So those very important softer skills are what we want to see develop. So what we're looking for from a student as they prepare is they have an understanding of that. So when they come on board, they would be able to accelerate and get good marks and get good, in the case of undergraduate students, get very high quality placements into industry. In the case of postgraduate students, they start to perform very high quality projects, and then those projects get them very good marks. We would be interested at that stage also seeing a pathway maybe into PhD if they're very successful, because we do have PhDs to offer now, particularly in the digital health and medtech area. And there's potentially then a lot of jobs in Ireland, north and south and throughout the UK. And we would like to see maybe a student think about progressing into that, maybe before they consider going back to India at some stage. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Professor James. I would like now Sayanti to take the next questions.
Okay, so my question to you, Professor Christopher, what would you have to suggest on the careers a student can explore post completing their post-graduation from University of Ulster?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think the subjects in computing cover a very broad discipline of technologies, and this provides a number of opportunities for graduates to work in a range of different different industrial contexts. And that might range from a programmer, a software developer, a software engineer, someone who maybe is engaged in data analytics, someone who maybe works with artificial intelligence. It might be that they work as a test engineer. They might be able to work as a network engineer, and even move into marketing and business analytics. So it really depends on the pathway that the student takes throughout their studies, and the different modules and the courses that they complete will dictate which career path that they can enter into and really move beyond. So I think one of the advantages and a further uniqueness is the ability to offer a very broad range of opportunities for graduate employment for our students who come through our courses at within the School of Computing. There's also the possibility of further study. We have 3 master's programs in our school in artificial intelligence and in IoT and in computer science, and we also have the possibility to undertake some research, some PhD research. So I think there's quite a lot of opportunities for the graduates. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think that was very, very important to note. And with this, my next question is also an important question, which often heard from most of our students. They would like to know if there are any scholarship opportunity that University of Ulster has to offer, and if it is, Professor, we'd like to know.
Yeah, so the scholarship opportunities for all our courses are £2,000 per year.
All right. So would you have any suggestion for them by when they should apply for these scholarships? I understand that they have to have an offer letter to be eligible for the same.
Yeah. I'm just going to ask my colleague Samitha. Samitha, is it okay if you can help with this question a little bit too? Thank you.
Sure. See, the £2,000 scholarship is an international scholarship given to all these students, whoever apply. So there is no additional application form for this or a deadline. So it comes with the offer letter.
Okay, thank you so much, Smita, because that was again an important piece of information a student should know. Thank you so much. We'll have our next set of questions again for Professor James, and Sukhpreet, over to you.
Thank you. So Professor James, kindly enlighten us with the facilities students can get while studying at Ulster University.
Okay, and again, a very good question, and a very important attribute of the University of Ulster is its amazing facilities. Over this last 20 years, we've been investing very heavily. Ultimately, is the new building that Professor Chris has just mentioned, the £350 million investment into this amazing building that not only will house, state-of-the-art, does house state-of-the-art lectures and space of particular types, but very importantly, the labs. In the case of computing, there's extensive labs in computing, the computing systems that both engineering and computing scientists will use. But our facilities, if I went to a very high level, we have a lot of very high quality surface science facilities, particularly useful for areas such as diagnostics and tissue engineering. The latest state of the arts in translational electron microscopy, XRD, XPS, SIMS, etc. Many of our Indian students are usually quite excited to use such systems because that skills them up for industry applications, etc. We also have a very powerful HPC setup for data analytics and artificial intelligence applications shared between both the schools. We have rapid prototyping facilities, again, the latest in very high precision 3D printing of metals and plastics, and rapid electronics, rapid prototyping systems for building up quickly devices and systems itself. Robotics, we're just we have a good robotics setup, but we're just building a very, very new robotics room that will house cobots, etc., which are going to be important for automation and instrumentation applications into medtech and wider. We have a digital twin facility that both Professor Chris and myself have set up recently with a strong medtech influence in it for helping design of new systems with real-time data systems coming into it. And then very importantly, we've just, over these last 3 or 4 years, we've received 40 million funding to push into a brand new research centre, the Centre for Digital Healthcare Technology, which is very uniquely designed with innovation space in it, with a representation from computing science, from bioengineering, and from life and health science, because I think the important message with, I think I mentioned at the beginning, is the multidisciplinary approach to development these days has never been more important. And the industry pull is that we help the biologics world and the computing science world helps the biologics world address some major data science, artificial intelligence adoptions into those areas. And we see lots of challenges, and as engineers, challenges is what we need to be able to successfully address the clinical need and unmet need that's there. So these resources are hugely important. The government has just given us some very large research council funding for funding PhD programs. Between University College London and ourselves, we have about 70 PhD programs over the next 2 or 3 years to give out. So we'll be looking intensely at that area to help pathways for students that will do masters. And also we have some more recent research council investment in to help with overall integration with industry, etc. So industry, I think both Professor Chris and myself have mentioned because of the industry interaction, the advisory board interactions, and the type of centres we have to keep state-of-the-art facilities, and we have to keep those maintained and those developed. And I think we're very, very proud of an absolutely excellent resource that then helps the students get jobs, because it's important that they're trained up in many of these systems. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor James. My last question to you would be, do you have any other recommendations for the students considering studying abroad? And when should they tentatively start their admission process?
Yeah. So I suppose the main recommendation that I would have is obviously to join engineering or computing at Ulster University. But I think the one thing we've maybe missed is accommodation costs are an extremely important part of a student's life. So our accommodation costs in brand new student blocks that are based beside the Belfast campus and in the other campuses as well are around about £500 a month. So if that's compared to maybe other universities, that is a much cheaper option, so that's quite substantial. There are even cheaper options available if students are prepared to share in houses, etc. But Northern Ireland is not as expensive as many other parts of the UK or Ireland. So that's an extremely important piece to consider if a student is coming here. I think the one thing about Northern Ireland, we're very family-centric, very like India. So we know that India and Ireland are very, very similar people. So you would get a very strong welcome, as many Indian students do get a strong welcome. I would advise Indian students to speak to other students that have completed courses or are on courses at Ulster University, and we can help with that if necessary. We can help them make introductions there. And I think starting the process as soon as possible is always advantageous, because there's obviously a whole range of paperwork steps. And Smithy maybe wants to come in here and talk a little bit about how she would advise, because she's dealing with that bit of it all of the time. Smithy, maybe you would like to talk about just that bit of the process, but how early this should start?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're looking out for, I think you should start the process a year before, because that will help to get an offer on time, and you can have the visa process also on time, and then you can be on campus at the orientation week, which is really important, wherein the student gets to meet and greet program would happen. So that's what, yeah.
Thank you, Professor James and Smita. Thank you. So thank you, professors, for sharing your valuable insights with our audience and us. I'm sure there is a lot for them to take back. So students, if you're considering Ulster University, please visit our virtual office and book an appointment at www.planstudyabroad.com. Thank you. Over to you, Sayanti.
Okay. So before we close the session, I would have a request for professors as well as Smita, if you have any last moment tips to give to these students who are considering studying in UK, or they are choosing Ulster University in particular. Any last moment tips from your side? Smita?
And just to highlight, sorry, Jim, please go on.
Okay.
Oh, no, you please, you're better. You go.
Just wanted to highlight on the rankings. Ulster University is ranked among top 500 in the QS World Ranking, and we are in the 28th in the UK. Yeah, so just wanted to say that. And Jim, you want to add something?
And probably both schools have excellent rankings within the UK. We have 80 or 90, top universities in the UK, and to be sitting in the top 15 in engineering and something very similar in computing is the type of thing that we're very proud of, and our research performance is exceptionally good as well. I think the one last message is employability is extremely good in engineering and computing, particularly in Ireland and the UK. And that's something I would encourage students to think about, because industry is very, very keen to help you get a job here at maybe as you're working, if that was possible, or as you complete. Those are the type of things that I think are very, very attractive. And these degrees will get you jobs globally. They're highly transferable. You could end up working in America easily with such a degree, and it would have that respect. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We've got a live question, so if I can request Smita to address this. So the question to you, Smita, would be, can you give us an overview about the course fees and overall expenditure to study in Ulster University?
Okay, so for a master's program, the 1 year tuition fees would be something around £17,500, and you'll have an international scholarship of £2,000. And the living expenses, as it's outside London, it would be something around £9,500. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So I think with this, we will be closing the session. And before we close, we have an information for our students who are seeking admission for 2024. Yes, you can still try an admission in 2024, for which we have organized an open day for you, which is scheduled on 27th of July. Between 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Register with us by visiting our website at www.planstudyabroad.com. Thank you so much. Have a good evening, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.